today's day and age, breaking through as a content creator means jumping through a ton of hoops. Am I engaging, interesting, informative? In years to come, will I look back and feel proud of what I've created? Or will I notice that I've been throwing in ideas the entire time, just hoping and praying for something to stick along the way? Who's to say? It's all a part of the grind and the second thing I just said. However, in efforts to grow this channel, I have discovered one crucial flaw that's been stunting my growth as a creator. I realized that I have no beef. Not 1 ounce with anyone, anybody. No qualms, no quarrels, no rivalries, nothing. Let's be honest. Life is at its most interesting when there are conflicts and stakes involved. And tell me, what are stakes made of? However, shortly after this, I realized I had another striking dilemma. I have no good reason to start any meaningful or personal beef with anyone in the first place because I am boring. I keep to myself most of the time, and unless I'm joking around with friends, I'm not exactly the type to provoke or start drama when it's not my place to do so. That ends today. To solve my problem, I've decided to start beef with 5 hyper-specific genres of people that in the grand scheme of things really don't affect me or the world all that much, but ick me enough to where I can talk about them at length for as long as this video lasts. If you're into that, hit that subscribe button, and if you find out you fall into any of these categories, I got 2 words for you. Get beefed. There's a specific picture that goes around in my Instagram and Twitter feed, and it's this picture right here. It's the step-by-step diagram on how to break out of a coffin if you're ever buried alive. It's an interesting little funny meme that goes around. That's not the problem. It's a cool thing you see in movies. It's action-packed, it's suspenseful, it's the fantastical embodiment of just sheer manpower and grit. Which, once again, not an issue. The specific genre of people I'm starting beef with today are the ones that look at this picture and save it in their phone and genuinely think to themselves, thank God that this came across my feed. Otherwise, I was going to completely miss out on learning and perfecting this technique that will 100% save my life when, not if, when I'm buried alive one day. Now, these people are a subset of the Doomsday Prepper Squad and those people who prepare for absurd accidental encounters. The reason why I'm not putting that whole genre of people in this is because I feel like Doomsday Prepping is a remotely harmless hobby. I feel like those people just do their thing and just keep to themselves, you know? It's on you if you don't prepare. Most scenarios like coming across a pit of quicksand or falling into a lion's den, in my opinion, have better odds of survival than being buried alive. Call me crazy, but I'm a firm believer that if you are ever put into a coffin, you ain't getting out. The thought that you could just break through one, to me, is similar to the concept of like, if you spear your hand against a wall like a million times, eventually your fingers will like phase through the atoms in the wall, causing your hand to just like phase through the wall seamlessly, essentially just poking your hand out the other side with zero effort. It's a cool concept in theory, but like the odds of that happening are so astronomically low that it's a much safer bet just to say that it'll never happen. Think about it. A basic wooden coffin isn't just a bunch of wooden planks and nails put together. It's thick, it's reinforced. It's designed not to break from a little internal pressure. And you know what? Some are actually made of metal. And metal's pretty hard. In addition, I feel like a lot of people forget that they actually pour a protective layer of concrete over you to stop you from coming back as a skeleton and parading through towns and wreaking havoc. This is an important step in the burial process that I feel like a lot of people overlook because they underestimate the sheer power of a skeleton post-mortem. Anyway, so the strat is to punch through the roof of the coffin, and once the dirt starts pouring down on you, you want to push it down to your feet and then crawl to the earth's surface. A standard coffin is about 84 inches long, 28 inches wide, and then 23 inches deep. And most of that space is occupied by you and your big head. And when you're laying flat inside of that thing, your arms, your chest, your shoulder, your arms, the majority of that takes up the entirety of the coffin's width and height. And between your chest and the roof of the coffin, that leaves you with about 6 inches of space to deliver this breakthrough punch. And you know, in all their facets and all their avenues, I would advocate that 6 inches definitely is enough to get the job done, but here it just won't work. But let's just pretend for a second that you got that super serum just coursing through your bones. The force you would need to break through a coffin buried 6 feet under compacted soil would be about 7,100 kilograms of force, which is around 70,000 newtons. What are we doing here? Who do you think you are? Fucking mantis shrimp? And even if you manage to break through, eventually you'll be taking on the brunt end of about 3,000 to 8,000 pounds of dirt directly on your head, which in comparison is merely a fraction of how much your mother weighs. So just think how devastating that would be. I don't care about how many YouTube videos you watch or how many karate lessons you go to. If you have this picture saved in your phone, there's one thing guaranteed for you. You'll be born a baby. You will live a man, but you'll die a bitch. If you wake up in that box, essentially you're a skeleton that's not done cooking yet. It's a tough break, kid. Hopefully they bury you with your phone so you can keep yourself refreshed. Get beefed. All right, cards on the table. I made a video about this before, but none of y'all saw that, so I'm just gonna say it again here, but louder. Also, it looks like it's about to rain in like a couple of minutes, so maybe I can get this before it starts raining. Like I see like the doom clouds showing up. So let's see if I can do it. Out of everyone on this list, I feel like this is the genre of person that I feel like I have the most genuine and authentic beef with. And when this person does this, it truly does like irk me to my core whenever it happens. This is the type of person that uses some form of the phrase, "Hey, how are you doing?" in passing. Now remember that part? That part's very important to this. But it's the people who use that phrase whenever they actually mean to just say hi. It's just one of those phrases that's packed into the general conversation starter pack that we all get when we're learning a language. Or if you ever learned a new language, it's one that you learn very early on. You know, it's the standard. Hey, how you doing? Doing good. How are you? I'm doing all right. That's good. And then it's from right then that you can either carry on the conversation or you can just move on your way. That's fine. My issue is with the people who use that expression solely as a greeting and then leave like they never said the words that they just said. Hey, how you doing? Doing good. How you doing? You see how much that sucks? To break it down just a little bit further, here's a diagram. Welcome to the lab, gamers. Here's the breakdown. Hey, how are you doing? Is the question and statement at hand. Hey grabs your attention. How invites connection. R grounds things to the present. You means you. This can also be abbreviated as ya to save time. We will come back to this in a second. Doing keeps things non-invasive and casual, essentially making this entire phrase, hey, how are you doing, an opening to more conversation. It's not asking anything too deep and it's not getting into anything too deep, but you can take it there if you really, really want to. Now, another thing that is important to this is how fast you say this question. So we have some math here that I did to calculate the average words per minute to say this phrase. What I ended up finding out is the average words per minute is about 240 words per minute. So that means if you say, hey, how are you doing, slower than 240 words per minute, you are starting a conversation. You are starting some kind of a conversation. It could be a small one, it could be a longer one, but you are starting a conversation. It's the slower that you say these words, the more enunciated they are and the more impactful that they are to the person on the receiving end. You're giving them ample time to digest every single thing that you're saying. Now, on the flip side, now if you say, hey, how are you doing? Faster or equal to 240 words per minute, you are sparking potential for a conversation. The difference being that this is a toss-up, right? It's Schrodinger's conversation. So it's important to distinguish whether or not you are here to start a conversation or even have one to begin with. So that means you have to go through the basic dialogue tree and then find out whether or not that's going to lead into a conversation. We as human beings crave balance and closure. And when we have that lack thereof, that leaves things unopened and unfinished and just messy. If you leave this question open-ended, essentially what you're doing is the verbal version of down low too slow. And this is just meat. It makes the person on the receiving end feel embarrassed and like a total idiot. Don't do this. And now the ball is in your court. It's your job to answer with something good or neutral or bad. You know what? I'm doing good. I'm doing all right. You know, I'm not doing so good, right? And then you throw the ball back and they don't even have the courtesy to catch the ball that they threw to you. And then the ball hits the ground and now you're just stuck there just thinking like, why'd you give me this ball? Why? Why'd you give this to me? These are not specific words that you just throw out into the void. Whenever you do this, you are creating a social contract that if you initiate it, you have to close it properly. So if you're someone who does this, please do one of these three things. One, just say or do anything, right? Close out the dialogue tree, give a little nod or something. Just anything. You can even do a little dance, wiggle your finger a little bit. Number two, instead of saying that phrase, just say hi and then move on. It is socially okay and socially acceptable just for two bodies just to say hi, and then never see each other ever again. Easy, done and done. Or number three, just don't say anything to begin with. Most of the world's problems would be solved if they never started in the first place. So if you do this, respectfully, Get beefed. Okay, y'all are gonna get the 2-for-1 special for this one because I realized that I wrote 2 things that were about food in some shape or form. So I'm gonna do one half, he's gonna do the other half, and then we'll carry on from there. So this first one I'm calling the parrot who doesn't know that they like everything. This relates to food reviewers who eat regular ass foods but act like they just ate out of the palm of Christ. It's a performative thing. Most food reviews are performative, and that's not the problem. I enjoy a good food review from time to time. You know, understanding the art of a good food review is honestly like the exact same thing of understanding why people like WWE. It's less about the wrestling and more about the performances and the general vibe, and that's completely fine. I get it. However, this genre of person gets so lost in the sauce in the performative aspect of the food review to where it's like, what are we doing? Dang, bro, your eyes are really rolling back that far over shaved ice? Wow, that pack of saltines really got you going crazy mode right now. And you know, sometimes it's this plateau of reaction that happens either at the most extreme or at the most low, just bare bones level. But it's always the exact same thing. Flatline up here or flatline down here. What really gets me is this leap of faith that they take and this level of uncertainty of how good the thing is that they're about to eat right before they eat it. And sometimes it's paired with this level of baby talk that's on par with like the call and response of like a Blue's Clues episode, which is why I call it the parrot, because it's the exact same thing every single time and it sounds a little bit like this. Oh my God. Oh my God. Left apple and right apple. Which one should I try? I want to try your left apple. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is so good. Which one should I try next? Left apple? I think I'm gonna try right apple. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is so good. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I think I'm gonna try this one. Oh my God. And you know, there's a coined term for when food is so good that you have to stop and reflect. It's called the ratatouille moment. We've all been there. And the glorious thing about the ratatouille moment is that the food doesn't have to be this 5-star Michelin chef level food. It can literally be just mom's peanut butter and jelly sandwich that she made for you whenever you were 7 years old. And that's beautiful, and that's art. But I refuse to believe that the same McDonald's burger is going to blow my mind, unlock my 8th chakra, and make me ascend to a higher sense of consciousness. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's good, but it can't be that good. They almost act like they've never eaten food before. And honestly, I feel like those are the types of people who should be doing food reviews. If I can't visibly count the amount of ribs you have while simultaneously seeing the Tom and Jerry outline of the food you just swallowed go down your throat, and then immediately see your stomach balloon up like a ribbiting frog, you can't review food, my dude. Get beefed. All right, now it's your turn. Thanks. All right, we're going to call this 3.5, so just bear with me for a sec. These are the type of people that try to put you on game on like a very unique or special type of cooking or recipe, but in reality, they themselves only know how to make just like very basic scrambled eggs. These are also the type of people to like gatekeep like onion powder, garlic powder, smoked paprika, and like chili powder, as if those ingredients are solely unique to only their style of cooking and not just like the fundamental building blocks to every single dish ever. Imagine gatekeeping onions and garlic. I challenge you right now to think of 10 dishes right off the top of your head that don't contain onion or garlic in any capacity. And don't say sushi because that's cheating. It's the fact that they try to put you on something that is so completely basic, but then they explain it like it needs this 12-step plan in order to achieve, when in reality, the thing that they're trying to make is practically just like butter on toast. If you have to tell me the 50-step plan to make eggs with spinach in it, bud, I don't know what to say, because it's just like the instructions are it's in the name. Eggs with spinach in it. But if you're doing like the omurice or like telling me how to make like a quiche or something, dude, I'll bust out the freaking Etch-a-Sketch, dude. I will gladly write down step by step by step, because that's interesting. Those things are unique little things. But if someone gives me the 10-step plan to make the perfect bowl of cereal, like you got to pour the milk in at the perfect 45-degree angle, just know that I will hear you out. But in my mind, I'm ripping off your head and I'm bowling a perfect 300 game. Every time. Get beefed. Okay, we're on to number 4. Today we're addressing a certain genre of people whom I like to call the vent through you conversationalist. Now, you may have encountered this dynamic before. It typically begins innocuously enough. Somebody approaches you to express their frustrations on something. a conflict at work, an awkward social interaction, maybe something that they saw on the news. And you, being the good, empathic, and handsome person you are, assume the role as the supportive listener. You nod, you validate, you offer the occasional, dang, that's crazy, or At first, it seems like a genuine and mutual dialogue. The person's being vulnerable about a certain thing, and you're also there sharing the space with them. But then eventually, something happens in the conversation and things start to shift. Now, this can also happen just from the start, but most times it starts off as a regular conversation and then morphs into this. The speaker's tone sharpens and their phrasing changes. Instead of describing what upset them, they begin addressing it directly. Not to you, but through you. You are no longer a part of the conversation at all. You are now a proxy, a stand-in for whatever thing that they're mad at right then. I think this is important to reiterate. They are 100% not mad at you. But in this kind of conversation, you're kind of stuck in this weird little limbo, and it's like you just morphed into something else. And now they're just directing all of their frustrations, just talking directly to that thing. And it's no longer both of you participating in this vent sesh. It's just them and whatever that thing is. Their words are technically aimed at you, but none of them are for you. Now, another example of this is if you ever got into an argument with somebody, it's the classic, while you're in the shower, you think of everything that you've ever wanted to say to this person. You think of the ultimate comeback, like, oh man, I wish I got to say this. I wish I got to say this specific thing to them. It's kind of like that in a sense. And they end up saying things in the conversation like, I can't believe they did this, to, I can't believe you would do that. Or what's wrong with you? You know, not literally saying like, what is wrong with you, but talking as if you are the thing, but they're not mad at you, they're mad at the thing. Now, to be fair, this behavior exists on a spectrum. At its most mild, it's a fleeting moment of emotional intensity. It's understandable. But at its most intense, it becomes kind of an emotional offloading. You're just being used as a vessel and an outlet. Okay, here's my Obama moment. Let me be clear. Venting is healthy. It's necessary even. Everyone needs a safe space to express themselves. But there's a marked difference between sharing one's frustration and transferring it. There's a distinction between being heard and being emotionally dumped on. I also think it's fair to say, well, aren't you doing the exact same thing right now? Which, once again, fair. But here's the difference. What I'm doing right now is not an outburst. This is a performative, structured kind of commentary thing. More of a reflection. There's a fourth wall right here, right? Not an emotional spiral. And for those who engage in this habit and forget the difference between talking to someone and through someone, I offer you this firm yet gentle reminder. Get beefed. Number 5, murderers. And there you have it, my list of 5 oddly specific genres of people that I feel comfortable with starting beef in the big 2025. But fellas, I gotta be honest with you. We spent a decent amount of time just airing out negativity. And you know what? I think it's time for a change, for some bonus content. That's right. We're going to take a moment to shine light on an underrated genre of person that I feel deserves the recognition literally right now. For context, I do film work from time to time, and whenever I'm on set, I always see this one type of person that makes my day every single time I see them. And 9 times out of 10, they look like this, and their name is always Tucker. Now, constants about Tucker is usually this big brown mustache and these glasses. The beanie and the fit can change sometimes, but usually the big identifying features is this big brown mustache and these glasses. Now, another great thing about the Tucker build is that they always come with at least 2 or more pouches filled to the brim with gizmos, gadgets, and goodies. And these things solve every single problem under the sun. And Tucker will give them to you to use before you even ask. I could honestly lose my car keys and Tucker would just give me their car just out of the kindness of their heart to have and to keep. Tuckers are always tech savvy, especially when it comes to cameras. They are super kind and accommodating, and they are always in the middle of their music career. They always have impeccable tastes, and they're always going to concerts and talking about bands. So yeah, it's easy to fall into complaining about shit that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. So let's take a moment to reflect on ourselves and take a page out of Tucker's book. Let's take time out of our days to be a little bit more kind to each other, a little bit more resourceful, and a little bit more like Tucker. And if you like this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year to further on my goal of eventually landing a Markiplier collab. So please do your due diligence and get that subscriber number up so Mark can see that I exist. Also leave a like and a comment telling me about one of your specific genres of people that you would like to start beef with and that slightly give you an ick. Nothing too personal. We don't have to go into the deepest weeds. Also, if you want to help support me and this channel, I made a Patreon. There, I'm going to be uploading behind the scenes content, bloopers and outtakes, coloring stuff, cinematography things, unreleased projects. It's in its early stage right now, but there's going to be a bunch of goodies up there. And also, if you want to have your name as an end credit in these kind of longer videos, head over to the Patreon. Help me out, man. Help a brother out. Hey, that's going to be it for me. We will be back eventually. And thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later. See ya.